back inside Cairo. She's not even running away. I mean, I guess there's like, at first I was worried she was gonna like, commit suicide. And then I was like, oh, she's running away. But now I'm also realizing, oh, she went back to Cairo. She went back into the city after doing that. I thought she'd run away, but I guess that makes sense because I'm pretty sure running away on Mars, especially at this point of Martian history, that would basically be committing suicide. Like, where are you gonna go? Unless you have connections, So, of course, she goes back. Back inside Cairo, she found that the news had already spread. The flare had been bright enough to catch people's eye. And after that, they had clumped together around the blank TV screens, by habit, and exchanged rumors and speculation. That's hilarious. Sitting around a blank TV screen out of habit, probably like it's like just like static. That sounds real. Like that sounds like something that would actually happen. It's like how I still pull out my phone when I know the Wi-Fi's out. I'm like, oh, I wonder what the news is. And then you just have to talk to the people in front of you. That seems real. They clumped together around the blank TV screens by habit and exchanged rumors and speculation. And somehow the basic fact had gotten around, or been worked out independently. Nadia strolled past group after group and heard people saying, "Phobos has been hit! Phobos has been hit!" And someone laughed. They brought the Roche limit up to it. What's the Roche limit? They brought the Roche limit up to it. She thought she was lost in the Medina, but almost directly she came to the city offices. Maya was outside. "Hey, Nadia," she cried. "Did you see Phobos?" The Roche limit is the distance at which a celestial body's tidal forces are strong enough to disrupt a body's own gravity, causing it to disintegrate. The Roche limit is also known as the Roche radius. Ah, they did it. They did do that. Okay. And someone laughed and said they brought the Roche limit up to it. She thought she was lost in the Medina, but almost directly she came to the city offices. Maya was outside. "Hey, Nadia, did you see Phobos?" "Yes." "Roger says that when they were up there in year 1, they built a system of explosives and rocketry into it. Did Arkady ever tell you about that?" "Yes." They went into the offices. Maya thinking aloud. "If they manage to slow it down very much, it'll come down. I wonder if it'll be possible to calculate where. We're pretty damn close to the equator right here. It'll break up, surely, and come down in lots of places. True. I wonder what Sachs thinks." They found Sachs and Frank bunched before one screen. Yelly and Anne and Simon before another. A Unoma satellite was tracking Phobos with a telescope, and Sachs was measuring the moon's speed of passage across the Martian landscape to get a fix on its velocity. In the image on the screen, Stickney's dome shone like a Fabergé egg, but the eye was drawn away from that to the moon's leading edge, which was blurry, and streaked with white flashes of ejecta and gases. Look how well balanced the thrust is, Sachs said to no one in particular. Too sudden a thrust, and the whole thing would have shattered. And an unbalanced thrust would have sent it spinning. And then the thrust would have pushed it all over the place. I see signs of stabilizing lateral thrusts, his AI said. Attitude jets, Sachs said. They turned Phobos into a big rocket. They did it in the first year, Nadia said. She wasn't sure why she was speaking. She still seemed out of control, observing her actions from several seconds behind. A lot of the Phobos crew was from rocketry and guidance. They processed the ice veins into liquid oxygen and deuterium and stored it in lined columns buried in the chondrite. The engines and the control complex were buried centrally. So it is a big rocket. Sachs was nodding as he typed, period of Phobos, 27. Period of excuse me. I don't know how to, Period of Phobos, 27, 5:47 seconds. So it's going, ... 2.146 kilometers per second, approximately. And to bring it down, it needs to decelerate to ... 1.561 kilometers per second. So 0.585 kilometers per second slower. For a mass like Phobos, wow, that's a lot of fuel. What's it down to now? Frank asked. He was black-faced, his jaw muscles pulsing under the skin like little biceps. Furious. Furious, Nadia saw, at his inability to predict what would happen next. What's it down to now? About 1.7? And those big thrusters still burning. It'll come down, but not in one piece. The descent will break it up, I'm sure. The Roche limit? No, just the stress from aerobraking. And with all these empty fuel chambers. What happened to the people on it? Nadia heard herself ask. Someone came on and said it sounded like the whole population had bailed out. No one stuck around to try and stop the firing. Good, Nadia said, sitting down heavily on the couch. Oh my God. Good. That's good. They probably got some time to get out of there. It is slowing down after all. Yeah, well, Nadia was never one to kill 1,000 people or more. But she didn't know that. She didn't know that they were gonna be fine. So when will it come down? Frank demanded. Sax blinked. Impossible to say. Depends on when it breaks up and how. But pretty soon, I'd guess. Within a day. And then there'll probably be a stretch somewhere along the equator. Probably a big stretch of it. In big trouble. It's going to make a fairly large meteor shower. That'll clear away some of the elevator cable, Simon said weakly. He was sitting beside Anne, watching her with concern. She stared at Simon's screen, bleakly, showed no sign of hearing any of them. There never had been a word of their son, Peter. Oh, it was Simon, not Spencer. I was like, where is Spencer then? And why was Simon comforting her when she thought Peter was on the elevator? Okay, so it's Simon and Anne. Spencer's probably dead. I guess we can assume Spencer's dead too. Great. I just like the name Spencer. I had a cat named Spencer growing up. It was a good cat. Dead. Anne's with Simon and their son, Peter. There had never had been word of their son, Peter. Was that better or worse than a soot pile? A dot code name coming up on your wrist pad. Better, Nadia decided. But still hard. This is so sad. I knew the end was gonna be tough, but damn. Everybody. There's 2 more books after this. I thought maybe it was gonna be more spread out. Shikata Ganai. So it goes. It's right here. And right there. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I have to keep reading ahead. I can't help it. That'll clear some of the elevator cable, Simon said weakly. He was sitting beside Anne, watching her with concern. She stared at Simon's screen bleakly. Oh, god. Was that better or worse than a soot pile? A dot code name coming up on your wrist pad. Better, Nadia decided, but still hard. Look, Sax said. It's breaking up. The satellite telescopic camera gave them an excellent view. The dome over Stickney burst outward in great shards. The crater pit lines that had always marked Phobos, suddenly puffing with dust, yawning open. And then the little potato-shaped world blossomed, like a blooming onion from Outback Steakhouse, fell apart in scattering irregular chunks. A half a dozen large ones slowly spread out, the largest one leading the way. One chunk flew off to the side, apparently powered still by one of the rockets that had lain buried in the moon's interior, like a gray potato, splitting into smaller potatoes. The rest of the rocks began to spread out in an irregular line, tumbling each at a different speed. I'm laughing in horror. Well, we're kind of in the line of fire, Sax remarked, looking up at the rest of them. The biggest chunks will hit the atmosphere. Well, we're kind of in the line of fire. Dude, the book's gonna end, like, right now. Oh god. The biggest chunks will hit the upper atmosphere soon. And then it'll happen pretty quickly. Can you determine where? No, there's too many unknowns. Along the equator, that's all. We're probably far enough south to miss most of it, but there may be quite a scatter effect. People on the equator ought to head north or south, Maya said. They probably know that. Anyway, the fall of the cable probably cleared the area pretty effectively already. There was little to do but wait. None of them wanted to leave the city and head south. It seemed they were past that kind of effort. Too hardened or too tired to worry about long-shot risks. Frank paced the room, his face working with anger. Finally, he couldn't stand it and got back on his screen to send off a sequence of short, pungent messages. One came back in, and he snorted. We've got a grace period, because the UN police are afraid to come down until after the shit falls. And after that, they'll be on us like hawks. They're claiming that the command initiating the Phobos explosions originated here. And they're tired of a neutral city being used as a command center for the insurrection. So we've got until the fall is over, Sax said. He clicked into the Unoma network and got a radar composition of the fragments. After that, there was nothing to do. They sat, they stood, and walked around. They looked at the screens. They ate cold pizzas. They napped. Nadia did none of these things. She could only manage to sit, hunched over her stomach, which felt like an iron walnut in her. She waited. Near midnight, near midnight and the time slip, something on the screens caught Sax's attention. And with some furious typing on Frank's channels, he got through to the Olympus Mons Observatory. It was just before dawn there, still dark, and one of the observatory cameras gave them its low space view southward, the black curve of the planet blocking the stars. And then there were shooting stars blazing down at an angle out of the western sky, as fast and bright as if they were perfectly straight lightning bolts or titanic tracer bullets, spraying in a sequence eastward, breaking apart in the last moments before impact, causing phosphor blobs to burst into existence at every impact point. Like the first moments of a whole string of nuclear explosions. I still can't decide if they're describing them hitting the planet or just like impacting the atmosphere. But Mars doesn't have much of an atmosphere. Like, they've been adding to it, but I still don't, like, if this was Earth, it would probably burn up, but that might be hitting the planet. Like, the first moments of a whole string of nuclear explosions. Atmosphere, okay. Well, I was about to turn the page. You didn't have to spoil it. In less than 10 seconds, the strike was over. Leaving the black field, the sky, dotted with a line of glowing yellow smoke-obscured patches. I think you're right. He's I feel like it's intentionally confusing, though. Nadia closed her eyes, saw swimming after images of the strike. She opened them again, looking at the screen. Clouds of smoke were surging up into the pre-dawn sky over West Tharsis, pouring so high that they got up out of the shadow of the planet and were lit by the rising sun. They were mushroom clouds, their heads a bright pale pink, their dark gray stalks illuminated by reflections from above. Slowly the sunlight moved down the tumultuous stalks until they were all burnished by the new morning sun. Then the lofty line of yellow and pink mushroom clouds drifted across the sky that was a delicate shade of indigo pastel. It looked like a Maxfield Parrish nightmare, too strange and beautiful a sight to believe. Nadia thought of the cable's last moments. Or the cable's last moment. That image of the incandescent double helix of diamonds. How was it that destruction could be so beautiful? Was there something in the scale of it? Was there some shadow in people lusting for it? Or was it just a coincidental combination of the elements? The final proof that beauty has no moral dimension. She stared and stared at the image, focused all her will on it, but she could not make it make sense. That may be enough particulate matter to trigger another global dust storm, Sachs observed. Although the net heat addition to the system, although the net heat addition to the system will surely be considerable. Shut up, Sachs, Maya said. Frank said, "It's our turn to get hit, isn't it?" Sachs nodded. "Or it's our turn to get hit, right?" Sachs nodded. They left the city offices and went out into the park. Everyone stood facing northwest. It was silent, as if they were performing a religious ritual. It felt completely different from waiting for bombardment by the police. By now it was mid-morning, the sky a dull, dusty pink. Good night, whoever you are. I'm only reading until this break in the paragraphs right here. And I'm right here right now, and I'm going to here. I don't remember the end of The Last of Us, but okay. It's about our turn to get hit, right? It felt completely different from waiting for bombardment by the police. By now it was mid-morning, the sky a dull, dusty pink. Then over the horizon, this is not the longest book ever, but hold on, you're making it take longer. Then over the horizon lanced a painfully bright comet. There was a collective, indrawn gasp, punctuated by scattered cries. The brilliant white line curved down toward them, then shot over their heads in an instant, disappearing over the eastern horizon. Osavian, I'm literally gonna fucking fight you, and I'm trying so hard to finish a single paragraph. Okay, I will fight you. Do you see this in your mind's eye? Fuck off. Why are you typing, dude? There is a fucking comet burning over their heads that Nadia fucking ignited. Fuck you. You could have read it in 3 days? Okay, I dare you. Read this out loud on Twitch. Not alone. Like, dude, I could get you at least 10 viewers. If you start a Twitch channel right now, I could get you like, I bet I could get 10 of these people to come watch your stupid little Twitch stream. Okay? You go. Go do it. Go read this book in 3 days live on Twitch, bitch. Shut up. Anyways, let me finish a single paragraph. Rude. Interrupting independent reading time like that. The brilliant white line curved down toward them and then shot over their heads in an instant, disappearing over the eastern horizon. There hadn't even been time to catch one's breath as it passed. A moment later, the ground trembled slightly underneath their feet, and the silence was broken by exclamations. To the east, a cloud shot up, redefining the height of the sky's pink dome. It must have plumed 20,000 meters. Then another brilliant white blaze crossed the sky overhead, trailing comet tails of fire. Then another, and another, and a whole blazing cluster of them, all crossing the sky and dropping over the eastern horizon, down into Great Marineris. Finally, the shower stopped, leaving the witnesses in Cairo half-blinded, staggering, after images bouncing on their sight. They had been passed over. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Now comes the UN, Frank said, at best. Okay. Exciting.